Good evening, everybody. Good evening. Thank you very much to the Mount Zion AME Church. Let's give them a round of applause. Thank you to everybody who came out tonight. My name is Jesse Nevel, and I am a candidate for mayor of St. Petersburg, Florida. And is anybody from the League of Women Voters here tonight? All right, then we probably won't be seeing the St. Pete Police Department before tonight's gathering is over, so that's good. My name is Jesse Nevel. I am running on a platform of reparations to the black community. And like Mr. Kreisman, I was born into a Jewish family. When we bring up the question of reparations to the black community, there are a lot of questions that immediately come about. How can this happen? Who will it go to? How much will it be? But everyone knows what my family and Mr. Kreisman's family went through at the hands of Nazi Germany during the Holocaust. And everyone knows that our people, the Jewish people, received reparations from the German government. And nobody asked those questions when it was the Jews who received reparations for the wrongs that were committed against us. So when you look at the conditions of black people in this city, where there is a Holocaust museum for my people, but we can't even acknowledge the terror, the poverty, the murder faced by the black community, the question that I think we have to answer tonight is if reparations is just and right for the Jewish community, then why not for the black community? Is it because they're black? That's the question that we need to answer tonight. Thank you very much. Well, I'm pretty sure that neither of the two Ricks are referred to as the Uhuru candidate by the Tampa Bay Times, so that is the first thing that distinguishes me from my opponents, is that I'm not a politician, I'm not funded by big money. My experience is not enacting policies that create harm upon the people of this city. My experience is as an activist working in solidarity with the people who are most harmed by those policies, that are struggling to build their own economic future and to bring justice to the families that have fallen victim, especially to the public policies of police containment that we've seen under this administration. I've been a member of the Uhuru Solidarity Movement, whose job is to go into my community, into the white community, and raise reparations to economic development projects that you can see on the South Side, such as the Uhuru House, such as the Burning Spear newspaper, Uhuru Jiko Community Commercial Kitchen, the One Africa, One Nation Marketplace, Black Power 96, and many other institutions. And it is that movement which is now under attack, including by forces who are in the room with us, such as Susan McGrath, the chair of the Pinellas County Democratic Party, and George Lofton, a detective of the St. Pete Police Department, who have gone on the record calling the Uhuru movement a domestic terrorist organization. And you know what the US government does to organizations it considers terrorist? It bombs them. So unless that's what Baker or Kreisman plan to do if they win, I expect you to denounce Susan McGrath and George Lofton for calling for violence against a black working class led movement. Thank you. Well, let's tell the whole story. Because not only are they shutting out the candidates, but now they're shutting out the people. Tampa Bay Times and Bay News 9 just announced today that they are canceling the audience for the July 25th debate, but invitation only. And they are only inviting people who are already part of the Kreisman and Baker campaigns. So first it was just Rick talking to himself, and now it's just the two-headed Rick talking to his own supporters. That's not a debate. Let the people in. And if the Ricks have any fiber in them that believes in democracy, they will not attend that debate on July 25th. They will boycott that debate. The people have a right to have a voice in this debate, and the struggle for reparations to the black community has a right to be heard.
And I will not be attending the debate because I think the institutions of America are under great test throughout this country. And I'm going to leave that right there. All right.
The sewer problem is in City Hall, and it's a sewer of corruption. And as far as the whole Battle of the Ricks thing goes, as far as sewage is concerned, I say a plague on both your houses. Because what Kreisman did, he didn't just leak sewage. He suppressed a 2014 audit warning him not to shut down the sewage plant. He fired Dwight Wilson, the highest-ranking black city official, widely respected throughout the Water Resources Department, and ignored complaints from black workers that their white supervisors were spray painting KKK on the back of black city workers' vests. That's the culture of intimidation and racial harassment and discrimination that he presided over. And Baker says, well, a 10-year-old could tell you. Well, the workers tried to tell Rick Kreisman. The workers tried to tell Kreisman if you shut down that plant, it would be a disaster, and he ignored them. He tried to make it illegal for them to talk to the media. So I think the solution is right there. The solution is workers' power. The solution is workers' councils within Water Resources that can preside over a real plan, a sustainable plan to build a genuine sewage and stormwater infrastructure in this city. Thank you.
Thank you. All right.
I'm not surprised this is a Bay News 9 question, because the whole idea that the problem in this city is car theft, that is an attack on the black community. And that is an attack on black children in particular. And you see this Tampa Bay Times article series called Hot Wheels, that while these criminals are poisoning our water with lead and sewage, they expect us to believe that the poster child of crime is a 13-year-old black child. And they criminalize the 3 drowned black girls, Ashanti Butler, Lanaya Miller, and Dominique Battle, who they use this whole myth of a car theft epidemic to justify their murder at the hands of the sheriff's department. I reject this question. Reparations to the black community is my answer to this question, and stop the war on black children. The CRA is the Community Redevelopment Area. How that works is that the city has designated a certain part of the city, comprising much of the south side. In that part of the city, rise in property values goes into tax incremental financing revenue, which is then supposedly to be allocated towards economic development on the south side. Now, in reality, over the course of the next 30 years, this plan promises $60 million to be allocated towards economic development. Now, this year alone, the Kreisman administration managed to scare up $85 million to build a new police station across the street from the current one. So I think the priorities of the city's budget are very clear, and any little nod towards economic development is welfare economics, and at best and at worst a glob of spit in the face of the community that it claims to be serving. And my position is that the top priority of the city's budget should not be policing black people, it should be economic development and reparations, and that is the road to genuine public safety. Thank you. Dominique Battle, Ashanti Butler, Lanaya Miller, Alton Witchard are the names of black people in this city murdered under the administration of Rick Kreisman. Markel McCullough, Javon Dawson, Jarrell Walker are the names of black teenagers murdered under the administration of Rick Baker. I share the stage tonight with men who have presided over the murder of black children in this city. And I call for the immediate removal from this city of the Pinellas County Sheriff's Department, which, when that policy was in place, there was an 8-year stretch where not a single black person was murdered in this city, and that ended with Rick Baker. I would bring back that policy. I would support black community control of the police, the right of the black community to have the power to hire, fire, train, and discipline police who operate in their communities. And I would call for the immediate resignation of Bob Gualtieri, the Pinellas County Sheriff, for the murder of the 3 drowned black girls. Thank you. There's an 800-pound gorilla in the room right now, and his name is gentrification. That's what we just heard. The first true statement coming from Kreisman tonight is that everything Baker said, the Kreisman administration is doing it. It's called gentrification. Gentrification. The CRA is a Trojan horse for gentrification. They talked about Carl Nurse. Carl Nurse owns 4 properties within the boundaries of the CRA, meaning he stands to profit from an increase in property values. This is a Trojan horse for gentrification, and everything that they talk about, the Baker Midtown Revitalization Act, yes, the closed down grocery store, the post office, that was gentrification. Bartlett Park, the displacement of black families from Bartlett Park has been profiled in a National Institute of Urban Studies as a case study for the disastrous effects of a policy of gentrification on a black community. That's the legacy of Baker. Kreisman ran on the promise that he would be like Baker. He has kept that promise. I will rupture that continuum in the most aggressive and decisive fashion you can imagine. And reparations will mean a massive infusion of capital into the black community, into affordable housing.
All right. Hey, y'all be seated.
Well, one thing that I think just needs to be made really clear is that Walmart is not economic development. That's a place where people go to spend money. That's the opposite of economic development. Walmart is a corporation. Calling Walmart economic development, that is capital extraction. That's what that is. And, you know, to talk about, well, let's bring back Walmart, well, let's put a Save-A-Lot. You know what there used to be in St. Pete? There used to be black-owned grocery stores. There used to be black-owned businesses. So the people had the ability to provide food, clothing, and shelter for themselves. And it was policies of this city that destroyed that, running an interstate through 22nd, building a Tropicana field where there used to be over 100 black-owned businesses. Reparations would mean a massive infusion of capital into currently existing black businesses and the emergence of new black businesses, and a completely different strategic outlook to our city that treats the black community with respect and not as some problem that has to be solved by the administration, but acknowledges the independence and power of that community to solve the problems that the administrations have created. I'm not so sure we need a Pier project, first of all. We're talking about $88 million to put up a pier. The waterfront is quite nice, is it not? I don't think we need a pier necessarily. So that's one thing. I think there's a better use of resources that the city has access to, including what I was just talking about, dealing with the injustices in the past that we've seen in this city, and making a public policy of reparations and economic development for the black community. And that means, yes, it says ensuring minority business. That means supporting the creation of black-owned businesses. It means a 16th Street redevelopment plan. It means that the land where the Tropicana field is now, get rid of the dome and turn that land back over to the black community to build economic development, to build the businesses that used to be there, and to build affordable housing. That's a much better use of our time and resources than putting up another pier so people can kayak around in the sewage. All power to the people. Once again, my name is Jesse Nevel, and I'm running for mayor of St. Petersburg along with Eritha Akile Kanyan for District 6 City Council. And I wanted to point that out because the fact that we are running as a team is important, because my slogan is unity through reparations, because we believe that in a divided city, a city divided by gentrification, by police violence, and by all of the horrible injustices that have defined this city from its inception, that unity is possible, but unity has to start with justice, and justice has to start with reparations to the black community. And I am not running as a protest campaign. I believe I can win, because I believe the people can win. The people can win against the forces of big money, the forces of corruption, the forces that have made people's lives horrible for generations. The people can win. And I saw a newspaper article in the Tampa Bay Times. You often hear in conventional political circles people complaining about how come people don't come out and vote? How come young people don't come out and vote? How come black people don't come out and vote? Well, maybe because there's nothing speaking to their interests. And now that you have two campaigns that are exciting both young people, black people, and white people who want to stand on the right side of the question, you call it chaos. And you try to shut it down. and you see a newspaper article with 3 young black people who are here, the people who make up my campaign and Akile's campaign. Stand up if you are here, and let's applaud these courageous young forces who have led this campaign, who are leading this city towards revolutionary change. You see the city, the newspaper denouncing them. You see 3 young black people standing up applauding, and it says, chaos. Well, the people are not going to play by the rules, because the rules were made to stifle the people. And the people are here. We are not going away. Get used to it. That's what we have to say. And finally, my promise as a candidate for mayor is that I will take responsibility. Because the murders of Javon Dawson, Markel McCullough, Jarrell Walker, that happened under this Rick, and the murders of Dominique Battle, Ashanti Butler, and Lanaya Miller that happened under this Rick, I will take responsibility for that. I will take responsibility to right the wrongs of the past, but reparations is not just about righting the wrongs of the past. Reparations is about acknowledging that it hasn't stopped, and it has to stop, and we have to make a commitment to make sure it never happens again. And that's why we need radical solutions for radical times and unity through reparations. So on August 29th, vote Jesse Nevel for mayor and vote Eritha Akile Canyon for District 6. Thank you.
All right. You come here. Come here. Y'all hold up. Now, I want to say this to him, and I want to say it publicly. The way you have energized the young people to become involved in the political process, I want to publicly say to you, I'm with that. And this is what we need